Step down to the get down.
All right, whenever you're ready.
5 seconds to the open.
2 men.
Make that 3 men.
No marketable skills. Always just one step away. One step away from the unemployment line.
Strip Club Radio with Tim Rhodes, Dane Hansen, and Glenn Miller starts now.
Showtime. Oh, wow.
Well, hello. Welcome to Strip Club Radio. Tim Rhodes in Atlanta, Georgia. Say hello to Dane Hansen, Vice President of Panda in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hello.
Dallas, Texas is home of our very own Glenn Miller. How you doing, G?
I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
Doing well. We got a big show today. Dallas, Austin. Yes. Madonna, TLC.
Oh, it's amazing.
The guys produced everybody, including, who were you telling me?
Deion
Sanders. He's going to ask about Deion Sanders when we talk to Dallas, Austin, coming up in a few minutes. But there's some industry news. Couple things. First of all, we kind of wanted a place where people could go and find industry jobs instead of having to go to Craigslist or Monster or any of these other ones. So we created stripclubindustry.com this week. Pretty proud of that. So if there's any owners, operators listening to our show that want to post some jobs,
waitresses, bar staff,
stripclubindustry.com is the website. Now let's get to Dane. Now Dane, after 10 years of being at one club, Dane made a huge move this week, and he switched clubs. You want to talk about why and how this all went down?
I left because I just felt I was done. I was done there. I've done everything that I could do there. I think you brought up before when we were talking that maybe they've seen the dangry side too many times, and I've seen what I feel is a letdown from them too many times, and it was just mutually the best time for both of us to split, I guess. You know, I mean, I don't know if it's kind of like a divorce.
Well, what do you mean dangry? Is it that you've got angry with them at times with management, or who?
I've been doing this a long time, so I see a lot of things that seem like simple fixes, things that are obvious to not just me, to other people, and it frustrates me that there's nothing being done about them. And the way things were done, I didn't agree with, and because I'm passionate and a little bit controlling once in a while, I think that maybe, I mouthed off a few times, and maybe I should have kept my mouth shut. But I think everybody makes mistakes when they're younger, and the older you get, you try to correct them and learn from them. And I think moving on, I'm going to take all those mistakes and try not to duplicate them at Crazy Horse 3.
Crazy Horse 3. I made the analogy a couple days ago of getting a new girlfriend. She doesn't know about your history. She doesn't know that you're a dick. So here's your chance to start fresh with a new girlfriend, Dane.
I think that makes sense. You know, I mean, that makes sense. But I think that as you get older, though, you choose your battles differently. I think that you're a little wiser in their choices, and I think that I learned a lot while I was there, both good and bad. And I'm going to try to not make the same mistakes twice, and move on and learn from what happened in the past.
The problem is that you have to replace a guy, and nobody likes that. And we're a small group of strip club DJs, and we know the guy, and we like the guy that you replaced. And so there were some hurt feelings there, and understandably so, because anytime you get fired and some guy takes your gig, I think you're looking for an outlet there, and so you tend to blame the guy that's replacing you when you shouldn't, maybe.
You guys tell me. Tim, Dane, tell me. I mean, are we being overly sensitive here? I mean, what the fuck is
Here's what's going on, Glenn. This whole Panda thing has made a kumbaya fucking feel. I got to get, you know what? In fact, let me cue up kumbaya. Right now.
Fuck you, Tim.
Hold on a second. The vice president of Panda wants everybody to love each other.
I just don't get it, man. I think we're being, I mean, come on, man.
Dane feels super bad about coming in and taking this guy's job because the Panda community has become close, and we're here to help each other. We're not here to try to try to stab anybody in the back. The problem is he was looking for a job. It came to him, and now if we could all just join Panda paws together.
Well, I wasn't even necessarily looking for a job, though. Well, you know what I mean? I wasn't even really looking for a job. He came to me and offered me a job.
I got to find the right kumbaya.
Here's what I want to ask you guys. If it's...
That one's horrible. I think I might
If
use
it's
that
not you, Dane.
You need to get one with like Jim Neighbors and a guitar.
If we're talking about Daniel Montoya,
I'm listening. Go ahead, Glenn.
I mean, I know because Dane, you're involved, and
Go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay. If Dane wasn't involved, and he's not part of the broadcast, oh my God.
I want to hear this point. Just hold off on the kumbaya for a second.
If we're talking about Daniel Montoya or Joe Scumbag at Scooters in downtown Portland, are we that concerned about why the guy got fired? I mean, are we that concerned about it?
Scooters. Scooters.
Oh, I can see this is going to be a long one. Are we going to do Dallas first, or are we going to talk about this shit?
Scooters.
Scooters and fuck Oregon.
Oh, shit. God damn, that's funny.
So, Dane, you accepted the job and you went back to Treasures and you informed them that you were leaving. And did you have a little party? Was there cakes involved and lots of shots?
I'd like to say that they were disappointed, but they weren't.
So wait a minute, Dane. I need some music here. Hold on. So you were expecting a different reaction from the crew at Treasures when you announced that you were leaving?
Maybe some reaction. You know, I don't know if different would have been. You know, any reaction would have been okay. I guess. I don't know. I was expecting too much. I guess. You know, I've only been there for 10 years. I mean, why would anybody say goodbye?
So Glenn.
Right.
Dane wanted to come in, maybe have some "We're gonna miss you" banners. We're sad you're leaving. Maybe a cake.
I got a cake, but no, I didn't want any banners.
Dane, stay out of this. Glenn,
Yeah.
tell everybody what Dane really wanted.
I'm sad right now. I wanted people to ask me to stay. Don't go.
He wanted managers to come up and go, "Don't go, Dane. We need you
stay.
here. We don't want you to go." Here comes the big dramatic. Hold on here. The big
Here.
Dane, you've been a great part of our success here at Treasures for 10 years, and we cannot lose you.
We can't go on without you.
No! Don't go! What are we going to do?
Close.
But did he get that?
No.
Fuck no, he didn't.
No, nothing. They stoned him. They stonewalled him. They didn't even say.
I was already stoned, Glenn.
The big shots. The big shots didn't even come and say goodbye. You know what? Fuck them. These are the same guys that'll be with a lot of former NFL players working at Home Depot in a couple of years. You don't need them. But by God, someday they'll remember. Dane Hansen, president.
Future president.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Future president.
Future president of
You
Panda.
guys just love digging holes, don't you? You should come out to the desert.
And when Dane is president of Panda.
No more.
So congratulations on your new job. I'm excited for you, man, really.
I am too. I'm happy for you. I think you deserve this. I think it's a move up, and for your family, it's better money. I think it's great for you. I think you were underappreciated in every way at Treasures, both by the management, which is normal. That's pretty par for a lot of clubs throughout the country, and financially, you weren't getting what you should.
Absolutely. Congratulations to my friend Dane Hansen. You can find him now at the Crazy Horse 3 in Las Vegas, Nevada. How about it, boys? You want to get our guest on, Dallas Austin?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm a little nervous talking to this guy.
Yes.
I got a little nerves going here because he's only a Grammy Award-winning producer. He's produced Madonna, Michael Jackson, TLC, right?
Yeah, I was just looking over the list of credits here, and it's amazing. Everybody, as you said, from Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Madonna, Carly Rae Jepsen, Boyz II Men, Pink, Gwen Stefani, and then I saw the name Deion Sanders, and I couldn't help but think, what the hell is going on? Deion Sanders? What's the story there?
they'd be so proud of that because I did, it was it was during a time where all the music people in Atlanta wanted to be like the athletes, and the athletes had so much money, and then Dion was playing like baseball, basketball, football, hockey, every ball he could play, and then he had Dion's Club 21, and so if you ever see Dion around Atlanta, he was like super gold chains, super Ferraris, and Mercedes, and so we all like broke with the music people, and then a lot of the athletes wanted to do records at the time, so he came to me and asked if I would do this song, Must Be the Money, because he got a record deal on Death Row. Back when when it first started popping with Dr. Dre.
Wasn't he prime time then? Was that one of his prime time?
He was prime time, and he had prime time Club 21 and all that stuff in Atlanta. So he just looked like a walking gold mine to us. He's like he's a genius. And so she'll call me one day and say, "Hey man, could you do the song on Dion? He really wants you to do a song with him. He's out of Atlanta. You're out of Atlanta. You really respect the music and the whole blah." And so. First, I was like, I don't know if I'm really into athletes and records, and this is going to be like a nightmare. I don't know what I'm going to do. And he said, no, he already has it out. He wants you to do Must Be the Money instead of Must Be the Music. Do that Must Be the Music song over.
A secret weapon track from a long time ago.
I don't know if that's going to work. They called back and they told me the amount they was going to give me for it and said that he'll be there that night. And I was like, shit, I got that record over here in the crate. So we went there and did. It's funny because I was at this show I'm getting honored with like Ted Turner and all these different people, and they're going over my accolades and stuff, and they went down the list, and then Deion Sanders stands up because he's getting honored too, and he goes, yeah, but he forgot about my record. I'm not on that list too. And I'm like, oh damn, I did do Must Be the Money. Everybody looked around and goes, what Deion Sanders record did you do? That's my private stash right there.
And by the way, I played that Must Be the Music secret weapon track when it first came out. That's how old I am.
I know, that record used to be so crazy. I used to love that song.
What about Burning Man? I saw that you went to Burning Man, and that's one of the bucket list, man, that I've never been able to do, and I hear that's just a life-altering. Is it what they say it is?
It changes your life, man. George McDarrow, who is in Atlanta, and he has the Ted's Grills, and he's a very successful businessman, and I respect him a lot. And he comes to me one day and he says, man, you've been to Burning Man? You going to Burning Man this year? And I said, no, I've never been. He's like, Dallas, are you crazy? You're such a burner. It's where you belong. You're just going to change your life when you go. And people that I've seen it before, and it just looked like, here's some people running around naked in the dirt. And I don't really like festivals as much. After you've done festivals so many years, it's not as fun to sit out and watch Coldplay in a bunch of mud sometimes, So, I thought that's what it was. And when I went, after he told me, it just changed my life. I haven't been speechless ever, and I don't know when. And like a good hour when the lights came on at Burning Man, people are trying to talk to you. You can't even speak. You can't even it's overwhelming like a child that's in Alice in Wonderland. And it's not too many things you see as an adult that makes you feel that way. And the sense of love and the sense of people and the sense of camaraderie, and you can't use his money, you can't use any phones. And I took Puff out there this time, Diddy. And I've been trying to get him to go for years, but it's so anti, if you look at Diddy and you look at Burning Man, you say, okay, these two things are impossible to you would hate it, is what you would think. But once he got out there, he was like, what is this? And if you're any kind of creative person or any kind of person with any spiritual feeling, it's going to get you hard. And it's amazing, man. It's like a city that everybody builds. It's no concerts, really. It's more like a city, and it's an apocalyptic city. And it's no trash. You take every trace with you, so when you leave, everything's gone along with you. And it's so respectable. And it's just you wish the world function that way. And 9 times out of 10, if you ever go to the Burning Man, you're gonna never not go back. You're like, man, I just wish the world I wish I could just stay here.
Well,
so it's an incredible experience. You have to go.
I hear that it's like just a big community. People build their own stuff, right? And you just you have to use bikes or something.
Well, yeah, because once you park your RVs, and you have to get around the city, and so you use the RVs and your camps as the city, and then you use bikes, either art cars. Now, the art cars sound crazy, and that's why they think everybody's on super drugs out there, because when I tell you that I was dancing on this giant yellow duck, and the shit had a mohawk of fire that breathed out the top of it, and then it had one laser eye, and then it had one big spotlight eye, and then it held about 500 people, and it was a rubber ducky, and then the music came on really loud, and the thing started moving. So it sounds like, like, what are you talking about? What are you on? Well, look at this giant pirate ship that's going by me right now in the middle of the desert, But everything, people have to build it, and so it makes you respect humans in a different way, because you can't go, it has to be registered in the DMV out there, and it's a very strict Burning Man community. So it's like a giant little 5 Points.
Wow. And then I heard, what were you telling me, Dane, that he's going to space or something, right?
Yeah, well, he goes to Burning Man and can't spend any money, and he spends $200,000 on a plane ticket to space with Richard Branson. So he must have saved up his money.
They were going to do with all the hippies, man.
What is that?
Virgin Galactic is launched, and when they first launched it, I'll tell you a funny story. I was at my friend's house, and I was like, man, I really want to go to space. I really want to see Richard Branson. I always had, I've been in places with him, but I never had a chance to sit and talk with him. And I had my rowdy label that I kind of like paced after that because I wanted to be different. And so I woke up that morning and I saw these Richard Branson books in his house, and for some reason, I just got him on Twitter, and I was like, man, I can't wait. I'm going to space with Richard Branson. I didn't mean with him. I mean because he's making it possible to Virgin Galactic, right? So as I said that, a little while later, my alert started going off. Ding, 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 ding. So my girlfriend's like, honey, you're like, this thing is getting crazy hits, and people are retweeting that you're going to space. Wouldn't it be funny if Richard Branson saw this? I thought, yeah, that would be hilarious. The next day is up at 100,000 retweets. And I got a call from Virgin.
Wow.
I get a call from Virgin Galactic, right? They're like, Dallas. I was like, shit, these people are calling for real. What am I going to say? I was, I want to go, but I wasn't really going with Richard for real. I was just kind of like, saying I wish I could, So they called. They said, Dallas, so hey, how's it going? We see that you're coming to space with us. I said, yeah, I want to. I mean, And they was like, well, you haven't registered yet, have you? I said, no, I'm just, really interested, and, I was just saying, like, no, thanks to Richard, I'm going to space, is what I meant. They said, well, do you want to come meet him? I said, yeah, I want to come meet him. They said, well, cool, we're flying a spaceship this weekend, and he's also launching his Virgin Aquatic, which is a submarine that goes deeper than any submarine, and it's like a cherry thing. Why don't you just come out to San Francisco with us, and he'd love to have you as his guest. I was like, no fucking way. I said, yeah.
Holy
so
shit.
next thing you know, I'm sitting with Buzz Aldrin and all the astronauts.
Wow.
And I'm flying with Branson on the Virgin plane next to the other plane, and we're just sitting talking for like hours, and then I fly back private with him to another island, and then we became cool. And yeah, I'm going to space at some point. I'm just going to let them work the kinks out first. I want to make sure he goes first. When Richard and his family comes back, then I'm going.
Can I say something about Dallas? That he's come in our club a couple times and super humble, and he's in jeans and T-shirt. And I looked down at this guy, and he came up and met me, and he was real nice. And I thought, man, this guy's a fucking millionaire. He has no reason to be dressed in T-shirts and jeans. And so I respect that, man. The humility that you have is admirable for sure.
It's such an amazing story. The story with Richard Branson and his whole career. Don't you ever have to pinch yourself? I mean, can you believe? Can your family, your friends you went to high school with or whatever? Isn't it? Aren't you amazed?
Especially being from Atlanta, because we laid the pathway for it, and I started out there just trying to get records played on the radio and just trying to get records placed. And it was a world of Cameo, and maybe Peebo Bryson and the SOS band had done something out of Atlanta, or Atlanta Rhythm Section maybe a long time ago, but there was really no outlets for us. And so, it's kind of, it's kind of a trip to be able to walk around that same place and be in Masquerade and Little 5 Points, and one day you're jumping off a stage to Ministry, and the next day you're like working with these big stars, the Michaels and the Gwen Stefani's, and after I did Boyz II Men and ABC and TLC and all the letters I could find, and we went around and said, then they kind of blew us up out of there and put a spotlight on us. And so I would be in Atlanta, and my course was always this kid that, I love Birkenstocks and Little 5 Points and, Grateful Dead and hippie shit, and I was like the black rock and roll kid. And as I started writing, and I listened to like Annie DeFranco and all this stuff when I was growing up, so I was able to chime into all these girl songs and be like, okay, I want to be the alternative, Michelle Shock, Michelle Malone, and all this stuff that was out of Little 5 Points. And as that translated over to Michael Jackson and Madonna and Gwen Stefani and Mick Jagger and Stevie Nicks and Fishbone and Korn and Nine Inch Nails.
Wow.
All this stuff I was able to do and bring to there. That's what really kept me humble, because I was just like I was just grateful. I couldn't believe it myself. I was still walking around pinching myself like, I'm here with Lionel Richie and I'm telling him what to do in the vocal booth, or like, Madonna sitting there asking me, is this right? Or Janet Jackson is going, Dallas, is this okay? Do you like the way I did it? And I'm just like, this is what's the greatest job in the world.
God.
And
We
I
always
used to
talk
draw it
about
on my notebooks, man, when I was little. We're making a documentary now called Dallas, Austin, Atlanta, Georgia. That's like the story of me from Columbus, actually, and how I got to Atlanta. And it's and I used to draw it, man, on my notebooks. Like when I was third grade and stuff, I would draw it on my notebooks. I would draw Kiss, draw, everybody drew Kiss on the notebooks, and then you draw keyboards, and I draw stages, and I draw all this stuff. And so it kind of freaked my mom and them out because they felt like, from the time from the first time they ever saw me drawing the keyboards, and then when I was 7, I asked for a calculator keyboard and said, hey, every Christmas give me a bigger one. And so they were able to just see this path, and I think that every kid has a gift. They just sometimes get annoyed by parents, by them being what they want you to be instead of what your gift is. But luckily enough, my mom was like, after I was like, okay, I don't want to go to school no more. I can't take this shit. I don't want to go to 11th grade. I want to be in the studios in College Park. And she was just like, talk to my counselor, and the counselor was like, well, maybe he's going to be a big record producer. He said he is, so maybe you should support him.
Wow.
And she did. And from that point, I just went in hard, man, and helped build that city. And I was really determined to build Atlanta because we were so country that we didn't like to go nowhere else. We didn't like New York. We didn't like L.A. We don't like shit. We was like, we're going to stay in Atlanta. Ain't nobody come to take our stuff. And so me, Big Boy, Andre, Jermaine, like we started to have a forum. If Queen Latifah was trying to buy land, we would be like, hold on, we got to talk about this. You mean in Atlanta? Because we built it all ourselves. And even when we started doing the films, I didn't want to do the VIP Rim records because there's so many of them. So I was like, I'm not going to fit in this category of VIP Rims and shake your ass every 5 seconds. So let me go make a movie. And so when I made Drumline and ATL, it was hard. It's kind of hard because we never really shot like that in Atlanta. And then they tried to send me to New Orleans to shoot because New Orleans had a tax bill. So I ended up going down to G8 Summit and speaking on behalf of the state of Georgia and sitting with Sonny Perdue and going over and creating this tax bill, which is why everybody's coming to Atlanta to film now. So trying to get a statue or a street or something, do some shit before I die,
Yeah.
I'll get accolades later. So, or music school or something where I can give back and have my name on it, But I've been into making changes there. I've always wanted to be in a place that we could all live, work, be successful, and be in entertainment and then go back home.
Fuck me, and I'm just getting up, trying to get some coffee, and then going to work later. And Dallas is making changes. God damn. Well,
we're trying, man. We're trying. What else we got to do every day? We're going to die at some point. So shit, have a good time, man. Make some changes and do something fun.
What's the latest stuff you're doing right now? I know you did some Lady Gaga stuff. What else is going on?
Yeah, me and Gaga did a record on TLC, which is it was kind of lit out of the bag a little bit. It's supposed to be a surprise, but then, through the internet and everywhere else, it kind of got leaked out. And so we did this record, which was great. It's called Postlight. And it's on the TLC movie is coming October 21st, which is interesting too because if you haven't seen the trailers for it, it took me 2 minutes myself in watching the trailer to realize it wasn't the girls because the casting is so good. And when you see Little Mama play Left Eye, it just put chills on you, man. It's really weird.
Wow. You've got Diana Ross's son playing your part. Is that correct?
Yeah, and he's one of my. I met him when I put him in ATL first. Because I wanted to have my little Brad pack, so having to slide my Brad pack with movies. So I put him in ATL, and then they called one day and they said, well, who's going to play you in the TLC movie? I was like, what about Evan Ross? They said, well, do you know where he is? I'm like, yeah, he's sitting right next to me. He's like my little brother. So he's also, we're coming back to Atlanta because he's in the Hunger Games. So we'll be back in Atlanta now for the next 4 months, which I'm excited about. 4 to 5 months doing Hunger Games with him.
Wow.
Damn, man. Look, I any other questions? Because I'm just sit here in awe listening to him talk about.
I gotta know. We talk a lot about egos in our business, and we have a lot of issues with other DJs having egos or people in our business just having a big chip on their shoulders. Working with all these people, these amazingly famous people, Aretha, Michael Jackson, Madonna. How hard do you find it to work with them and their egos, and do they bring a lot of that to the table when they're doing their albums?
You know what I found out is that the artists, like when you work with the Michaels or you work with Aretha Franklin, you work with these people, because they give you these accolades and they're almost like that's a service in a sense, which is very weird. Because you're sitting there like, I was working with Grace Jones one time and it took me a day and a half for her to record because she wouldn't go in the vocal booth and she just kept making excuses and shit. I was just like, well, maybe something's wrong with me. So I go outside, maybe I puff a joint, come back or something, or smoke, drink or something, but she's making me nervous as fuck. So I come back in the room and she's like, is that tequila you drink? And I was like, well, yeah, it's a little sip of Patron. She's like, can I have a sip? She said, yes. I said, oh my God, I'm so nervous working with you. Jesus Christ, man, I got to go in there and sing in this booth. I'm like,
what a compliment, huh?
Same thing with Stevie Nicks. She was the same way, man. I'm nervous. I'm in this vocal booth and you're the great producer and and I'm like sitting there going to myself, like, I must be on another planet because, these are people who.
On that Richard Branson flight.
What an incredible compliment.
I must live on a space flight. So you don't really run into as many egos with the artist as you run into egos with maybe the other producers or like, other producers that got to the point where they'll be like, they kind of go to their head because being behind the scenes guy and making all of it happen and not being the front guy can make it sometimes when it's just extra ego. It's just extra like I'm the greatest person in the world. I invented this person. I created this and that. But it ain't no fun up there. You know what I'm saying? There's no fun hanging out in that area of life where you just think you did everything. Like you can learn something great from somebody who's nobody. You can learn something great from somebody who's great. It's just you got to be open to it, not let there be blockage for you.
Well, it's easy to see why you have such a great reputation and almost going on 25, 30 years in this business now of doing it.
Yeah, man.
And it's because, man, you're such a likable, easy to talk to, friendly, and humble guy, man. And for taking time out to talk to us, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We have a group of like 400 strip club DJs called Panda. Yeah, man. And we're all kind of bonding together, and we're just now starting to kind of to come together and share music and talk about new tracks and talk about in this podcast that we're doing. A lot of people are digging.
Well, that's awesome, man, because that's what it takes to we have core DJs and all these other DJ groups that, from a mix show standpoint, from a radio standpoint, Tony Neal and them are on it so hard that it's created this, this conglomerate of DJs you can't do without. And the artists, anytime they call an artist, they get them. Anytime they call it this, because it's, and it's built off of knowing that the DJs are the ones who really break your records. And, it's been plenty of times I walk in the theater and say, hey, man, can you just play this for me? I just want to see the action, And I know that for a fact that all the other records, especially the ghetto records in Atlanta, they're going straight to the strip clubs, So it's good that you guys have formed it because it's another channel for us to break music through that we all pay attention to very, we look at it very strong and say, take it to the club first, take it to the strip club first, take it to the strip club first. So it's good if the DJs get together and know that.
And you did that last time you guys. Yeah, last time you guys were in the club, they were dropping a new song on us. We played it a couple times, and I love that shit. So anytime you come in the club, man, you let me know, and I'll play whatever you got, buddy.
Like I said, you get out to Vegas. Come on into Crazy Horse 3, and I'd love to see you.
Oh, don't worry. You might see me this weekend after the fight.
Absolutely.
Hey, Dallas, man, thank you again, but I can't appreciate enough. I owe you a hug when you come in next time.
Thank you guys, man. I appreciate it. Anytime, man, let me know.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
All right, buddy. You're welcome.
Wow. Amazing guy. What a great career.
He's one of the most humble
story.
One of the most humble people I think I've ever talked to with that much success.
Can I go ahead and
amazing.
Let me peel back the curtain on this show a little bit. We did about 15 minutes with Austin before I realized I wasn't recording it. The first 15 minutes that we talked to him was phenomenal, and then I realized, oh shit, I didn't hit the record button, and he redid the whole interview for us that you just heard.
No, that was amazing, and he was so gracious about it. I mean, with his time, and everybody knows time is money, money is time. But Tim, the moment you realized that it wasn't recording, tell me about that feeling.
I lost my breath, and I swear to God, if you would have saw, I probably turned white, and I got so flustered, I didn't know how to fucking turn off. I didn't know how to record. You guys heard me. I was like, I'm sorry. Oh my God.
We tried for a week and a half to get a hold of this guy. We get a hold of him. We're interviewing him, and Mr. Rhodes forgets to hit the record button for the first 20 minutes.
We got to do another disclaimer for that to all our guests before they come on. We might not be recording, so don't say anything funny until we're sure.
When the first time we talked to him, and he was sharing about meeting all these people that he had thought about and had looked up to when he was growing up, and he finally got to meet. I got goosebumps, and I didn't hit the fucking record button. I couldn't believe it.
Oh,
but thank him for coming on and redoing the whole interview, basically.
Oh, it was gracious. It was so gracious of him.
Yeah, he was a great guy, man. I could have talked to him for an hour at least. It was amazing.
Fuck, man. Are you kidding me? This guy's going to space. He goes to Burning Man. He meets with all these people. He produces their shit. What a fucking interesting guy and humble and nice. Wow. You know what? I'm a changed guy today. I'm going to be a better person today. Because of him.
That's great, man.
Just today.
So long.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Bye.
Strip Club Radio is coming to a close. But don't worry, baby. We'll be back soon.
Oh,
yeah.
Go to stripclubradioshow.com or search Strip Club Radio on iTunes.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Bye-bye. See you next time.